There we go. Yeah. Cool. Shit, I gotta go grab that charger. Boom. There we go. Sorry I'm late, ladies and gentlemen. I was, finding out firsthand that my blinds are fucked up. Isn't that, isn't that just what it's all about? The blinds are fucked up, y'all. What's wrong with them? I'm glad you asked, Superman. So usually when I start streaming, I pull it, I pull it down and just lift the entire blind, like to about half the size of the window because they're big windows. Um, but apparently the strings on the pulley system did not enjoy that. And now it appears that the strings get caught inside the pulley system, which is just awful. I had like half of the window seal covered and then the other half, and I found this out as soon as I got off stream yesterday. Absolutely horrid. So today, it is. But that means today I just opened the blinds like that instead. You know, like a gentleman. I did that shit like a gentleman. None of this barbaric shit. Yeah, of course. I stream on any weekday stream. I stream on the laptop. Uh-oh. Are you redeeming a watch a video thing? He is. He is. All right. Well, we are still trying out the chatting it up for the first hour or so thing, but a redeem a video does take over. That does take precedent. So, we will watch this quick video and then we are going to continue on. What is this? To watch the jazz video? Okay, this one right here. This one right here. Yeah? Alright. Bet.
The sounds of Django Reinhardt.
Oh my god, this is the same guy. This is our fucking guy. This is our guy. He's back. Oh my goodness, he's back. I remember this guy. He had such a fabulous conversation with a Russian gentleman about Dostoevsky. while he was having a hot dog. Yes, yes. This guy. I like this guy. Our hero. He hasn't hit that status for me yet, but I do enjoy his presence. And I see he's got that shit on, bro. Marvin the Martian. Marvin the Martian. Hold on, let's let's pop culture watch here. It's like pocket watching, but for pop culture. Let's see what they're into. Is that Albert back there? Is that Albert? What is this right here? What is that? What is that? That looks like the Hulk, kinda. Dude, I think he paints. Oh, is he a painting man? I admire that. I admire that. He got scotch tape at his desk. He's a prepared man. He's a prepared man. Is this a phone number holder? No, that's a light. That's a light. I thought that was one of those revolving phone number carriers they used to have back in the day. Big 70s San Fran dude. I I see the vision with San Francisco. I see what you're saying there. Big, big West Coast vibes. Major West Coast vibes coming off this guy. You said 70s? I believe it. I do believe it. All right. So this is him critiquing jazz, I assume. He was a jazz critic, if my memory serves. So this is him critiquing jazz. Okay, we're all caught up. Excellent video, Redeem. Thank you, Superman. All right, let's dive in.
My favorite guitarist, Gypsy, had burned his hand or paralyzed in some way. He only used 2 fingers. Produced a sound that nobody else compares with. Played with a man named Stefan Grappelli, who's a violinist, the Hot Club of France. Fabulous music, just my favorite stuff. I worked to it. Turn it up to 180 decibels and just sit down here at this typewriter and start to boogie. These are, by the way, 2 of my most recent books.
He said it so calmly, I almost didn't notice. You turn it up to 180 decibels? Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't pain start at 124? A 180 decibels? Good God! Good fuck! This man, 100. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, and I was prepared for some weird shit too. 180 decibels. This is Marty McFly, bro. Who the fuck is this?
Casually left out here so that those of you who see them will go to Subterranean Press on the website.
What have we got here? Oh yes, oh yes. You know, shameless product placement. Shameless product placement. The Deadly Streets. Oh my God. I'm an artist and should be exempt from work? Is that what that says?
And order them. They're the hardcovers of 2 of my earliest books, one of which is one of my very, very best, Gentleman Junkie. I've been asked to talk about...
Did he say Gentleman Junkie? Exempt from shit? The Deadly Streets and Gentleman Junkie.
Jazz. Well, I was a jazz critic and columnist for both Downbeat and Metronome, the two big jazz magazines, big regular monthly magazines of the jazz world for 20 years. I worked with people like Nat Hentoff and uh, Ira Gettler, and I worked with everybody and was always at recording sessions at Blue Note and Atlantic, and that's where I got to know Theo Bickel and Lambert Hendrickson Ross. Tell you a story about Lambert Hendrickson Ross. For those of you who don't know, Lambert Hendrickson Ross, go look him up. That's
I don't.
why we're doing this on YouTube, so that you can go to where you have to look them up. Lambert Hendrickson Ross were a
What we got here? Lambert Hendrickson Ross were an American vocalist trio formed by jazz vocalists Dave Lambert, John Hendricks, and Annie Ross from 1962 to 1964. Short run. Ross was replaced by a vocalist, Yolanda Bavan. Awards. Grammy Award for Best Performance by a Vocal Group. Origin out of New York City. Some of their biggest hits: Moanin', Twisted, Centerpiece, Come On Home. Active from 1957. Wait. Oh. Okay. From 1962 to 1964, comma, not period. Ross was replaced by the vocalist. Okay. Okay, heard. Interesting. I'm going to keep that tab open.
singing trio, and they were before the Swingle Singers and before all the other a cappella groups that took actual jazz tracks as recorded by King Pleasure and Count Basie and Joe Williams, and they had no words to them, and they created words. And one of them was black and two of them were white. Davy Lambert.
That's so fun. That's so fun. Taking wonderful pieces that already exist and adding a vocal performance to it. On top of adding words, which means adding poetry to it as well, if done correctly. Oh, you're talking. Oh, is he talking about scatting? Ooh. Okay, I like a bit of scatting. Hey, I've been known to scat from time to time. I think I've definitely scatted. We've been streaming 8 months. I've definitely scatted on stream. 100%. 100%.
Was the head of the operation. Was a white dude. John Hendricks was the great scat singer, who still is alive. Davy's dead. Walked in front of a bus in Chicago. I don't think he did it on purpose. And Annie Ross, who many of you may know because she was in one of the Superman movies. But Annie Ross had a voice that was just incredible. And the three of them.
Christopher Reeves? What the fuck? What? Oh my god, I do know her face. Oh my god. She was in Superman 3? What else was she in? She was in some shit. I got ash on my fucking arm from that. Superman, yeah. Who did she play in this? Who did she play? Isn't that crazy? That's fucking nuts. I always forget Marlon Brando is Superman's dad in those. That's always funny. Look up Superman and her name. And her name is Ross, ain't it? Or it was like Anna Ross. What was it? Hit me with it again. I'm bad with names. Annie Ross, yes. Ross played Vera Webster, the secondary antagonist and sister to the wealthy villain Ross Webster. She famously turned into a cybernet. Oh, wow. Crazy. Crazy work. Good shit. Good shit.
Them in unison were like archangels singing. And they would take the bassy swing section, for instance, and get them behind them doing the charts while they would scat the songs which they made up to. They had a trio which was headed by a wonderful pianist called Pony Poindexter. And Pony, and they do a song, one of the songs is Ride Little Pony Ride.
Pony Poindexter. Golly, that is his that is the jazz artist. That is John Jazz, bro. That is him. That is Mr. Jazz, bro. That's fucking okay. Okay.
And I made their acquaintance in Chicago when I got out of the Army. I was working in Rogue Magazine. I was the editor of Rogue Magazine out in Evanston. And I got to know everybody on the South Side in all the jazz clubs. I mean, that was the golden age. Eric Dolphy was just beginning to play, and I'll forget all the other names, but everybody who was anybody. And I met great musicians, everybody from Jack Teagarden to Louis Armstrong, and hung with them all, and always felt awkward because I was always a little white guy in among all of these heavy-duty black dudes. And it wasn't just that they were black dudes, it was that they were heavy-duty black dudes. Because there's a lot of black dudes you can hang with, and it's like hanging with nobody. But these people had chops that didn't quit. They went back to the Paleozoic dressing. And one night, or one afternoon, I got invited to a party at Pony Poindexter's. He was living over back of the yards in the South Side, deep South Side. And
on the south side of Chicago? Golly. That's one of the places to be of all time, man. That is one of the places to be. Oh, wow.
Those days I was driving an Austin Healey. I had been racing at Watkins Glen, and I had two of them.
I don't know dick about cars. I don't know dick about cars. I know the name of two cars, and that's because I've had two cars. That is one area of my life that is one very very deep pool of wealth and information that I know dick about.
I had a gorgeous gunmetal blue Austin Healey with a louvered bonnet for road, but it was laid up in the shop.
That man may as well have been speaking Spanish right there. Imagine having a Porsche today, basically. Is that the one that's made in Italy? I thought it started with an F. Is that like the make? And then the model's like Ferrari or something? Cuz I thought isn't it Ferrari? Is that the model? Porsche's German, Ferrari is Italian. Okay, so Ferrari is Italian. Okay, okay. That's what I thought. Porsche's not as nice. Porsche's not as nice as Ferrari? Oh, is there like a gap there? Are those not both equally good cars? Is there how deep a disparity is it? Is it like close? Is it like neck and is it okay? Is it like on like give me a you tell me when to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like is it like we talking right here? We talking right here? We talking like right here? They're both good, but Ferrari is like Steph Curry to Wemby. Okay. Okay. Hurt. 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 Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so this guy's got a nice car. He's got a nice car, is what he's describing, but not nothing crazy.
as most cars usually are. So I had to take the bus, or buses, various buses, all the way from Evanston, all the way across Chicago, through downtown, through the Loop,
Hurt.
on the L, all the way out to the south side, and then back onto another bus into the largest black ghetto north of the Mason-Dixon line, where some of the most violent race riots of the 20th century occurred, one of which I covered with James Baldwin. That's a story I'll tell you another time. But I remember riding on the bus and
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't I was lighting a I was lighting it. Did he just say that he lived in Chicago during the Chicago riots? The the riots with James Baldwin? With James Baldwin. Ah, fucking hell. Shit. And then we lost our
people like
place.
Nat Hentoff and uh, Ira Gettler, and I worked with them were white. Davy Lambert was the head of the operations, a white dude. John Hendricks was the great, great scat singer. I made their acquaintance in Chicago when I got out of the Army. I was working in, I got to know everybody on Metstrong, and hung with them all, and always felt awkward because I was always a little white guy in among all of these heavy duty black dudes. And it wasn't just that they were black dudes, it was that they were heavy duty black dudes. Because a lot of black dudes you could hang with, and it's like hanging with nobody. But these people had chops that didn't
You know James Baldwin? Don't worry about it? Okay.
quit. They went back to the Paleozoic, for Christ's sake. And one night, one afternoon, I got invited to a party at Pony Poindexter's. He was living over back of the yards in the south side, deep south side.
Did he say? Did I imagine that? Did he say?
And those days I was driving an Austin Healey. I had been racing at Watkins Glen, and I had two of them. I had a gorgeous gunmetal blue Austin Healey with a louvered bonnet for road. But it was laid up in the shop, as most cars usually are. So I had to take the bus, or buses, various buses, all the way from Evanston, all the way across Chicago, through downtown, through the Loop, on the L, all the way out to the south side, and then back onto another bus into the largest black ghetto north of the Mason-Dixon line, where some of the most violent race riots of the 20th century occurred, one of which I covered with James Baldwin. That's a story I'll tell you another time. But I remember riding on the bus and looking out the window because there was nothing else to do, And I'm sitting there looking out the window at the markets as they go by. And
Okay.
here's how.
Okay. I thought I thought he said he was there during the Chicago riots. And I was about to be like, "Yo, that's actually nuts." Fun fact, I'll do a little shameless plug, but not for any of my art, just great art in general. For those of you with a keen eye, you may have noticed that there's a stack of books that I'm hoping to read underneath the Skull and Snakes. The top book is none other than the wonderful Steal This Book by the, famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, Abby Hoffman. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are, I don't know if you guys are familiar at all with the Chicago riots or the trial of the Chicago Seven or who even Abby Hoffman is. But if you don't, I highly recommend that you learn about him. I am of the belief that he was not a perfect man, but a pretty damn good one. I hope it's a good read. Me as well. I have not started it yet. That is why it is on my list of my stack of upcoming books I needed to read. I was looking at it a couple, like I think last month I did this, but I was looking at my stack of future books I needed to read and I was like, I'm a little light on actual books. It's been a lot of comic books the past year. So I was like, let me get back into this pool of like actual books that I've purchased that I need to start reading. I got this really nice book for Halloween time. Once it gets to like September, October, I'm gonna whip that one out and put that one up on the to-do list. It's gonna be nice. But yeah, crazy coincidence. Had to plug Abby Hoffman anytime we're talking about riots in Chicago. Yo, if you want actual books, I can hit you up with a site for thrifted books after stream. I don't I have a thing. I don't enjoy buying things online. I don't enjoy that. I have trust issues, so I don't even put my credit card out there unless it's absolutely fucking necessary. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it, but yeah, that's just not something I do personally. But that's very kind of you. Thank you. But I do be hitting up like half price books and stuff. You gotta find books cheap, and beggars cannot be choosers. I don't care that my for example, another book I'm hoping to finish at some point. But I'll tell you right now, this sucker right here, when I bought it, wasn't brand new. This sucker right here wasn't brand new. I'm pretty sure this wasn't brand new neither. I got that at half price books. Now this one was brand new. This one was brand new. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that shit at fucking Barnes and Noble and paid like $25 for it. Had to. Had to. God, it was so much money, but I had to. It looked like such a good book. $5 books have made my bedroom into an accidental library. Books on the cheap are incredible. Books on the cheap are incredible. I love that shit. I love that shit. Another fun fact about me, I love DVDs. And y'all think I'm fucking joking. Hold on. Cause this is a long video and we are supposed to be just yapping for the first hour, so let me spread this shit out a little bit. Dog, I got drawers and drawers and drawers of DVDs. I got all kinds of silly shit, dude. I got shit that I don't even watch anymore. I have dude, I have DVDs from my fucking childhood. Y'all ever see Surf Ninjas? What y'all know about Surf Ninjas, bro? What y'all know about this greatness right here? This absolute fucking masterpiece. Oh my god. Average Redbox fan? Absolute dude, growing up every Friday night, my dad, because we didn't have cable at the beginning, every Friday night my dad would go down to Blockbuster because we had one in our town, and there's not many things in our town, bro. I'll put it to you like this: I come from a town where the closest Walmart's about 20 minutes away. You gotta drive about 20 minutes out of town before you are ever gonna hit like a Walmart or anything like that. But but every Friday night we had a Blockbuster, and my dad would go up there and rent a fucking movie. And then, my dad started working harder and harder. He got older and older, and then we just started amassing this giant smorgasbord of movies. Ooh, this is another good one. This is another good one right here. Yes, sir. Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, brother. Yes. Brother, yes. Mm, 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 mm. You seeing that shit? Bow, wow, wow. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dude, what kind of peak is sitting right next to Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase? I'm glad you asked. I noticed this as I went to grab it. Right next to it, another banger. Another banger. totally, totally different vibe. Totally different vibe from Scooby-Doo. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the vibes are a lot harsher. It's a lot harsher vibe, but it's equally good. I was expecting Doom. No, The Help, dude. The Help. Get in on that. Ugh. Dude, this is the most random collection of movies you've ever seen. I've got Star Wars The Force Awakens right next to Parental Guidance with Billy Crystal, bro. This is incredible. Oh my gosh, this is fucking incredible. Hold on. What else have I got in here? What else have I got in here? Oh, yes. Oh my goodness, you're not gonna believe it. Guys, Expendables 3 on Blu-ray. Get excited. Get excited. Guys, this is the Expendables 3. You don't understand, it has Wesley Snipes in it. This is where we get some of the greatest one-liners in all of the Expendables franchise. As we all know, obviously, Jason Statham plays Christmas. That's his name. And Wesley Snipes just goes to fucking town on that name. If you're Christmas, I'm the knife before Christmas. Oh, it's a burn because his thing is knives, but Wesley Snipes' thing was also knives, so it was a banger. Oh, get out of town, Jason Statham. What, pa, pa, pa? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Some absolute A1, just 80s shove it down your throat Billy badass one-liners right here, baby. Mwah. What are we doing? Dude, can't you tell? We're we're checking out the DVDs, man. Uh-oh. We got a little bit of ass. We got a little bit of ass. Titans season 2 only. Mmm. Mmm. Ain't that a good one? Ain't that a golly, this show was bad. Why did I get that? And oh wow, and you know what's right next to it? Daniel Day-Lewis's Oscar-winning performance. There will be blood. Oh wow, wow, wow! Another banger. Quentin Tarantino has clearly never seen this movie because Paul Dano acts his ass off. Shout out Paul Dano. Great movie in my opinion. Absolutely. Sitting in the box right next to Titan Season 2. It's peak after peak after peak. Love, he has the help. I do. I do have the help. I also have Home Alone 1 and 2, which is always nice. What is this? Jetsons the movie! Ah! Ah! Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Hot diggity dog, dude! It's incredible. This is incredible. Oh shit. Oh no. Guys, look out. Guys, look out. It appears family has entered the stream. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Furious 7, baby. They were 7 movies in at this point right here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys want to see Vin Diesel and The Rock never lose a fight? Never, not once? You guys want to see who can out Billy Badass who? Between Vin Diesel, The Rock, and Jason Statham when none of them can lose a fight? Guys, all you had to do was ask right here. Got it on DVD for you. Uh. Yes. Yes, baby. Yes. What else we got in here? I know we got more goodies. Okay, but unironically a masterpiece. Can we get some clapping hands in the chat for this bad mama jamma right here? Can we get some W's in the chat for this one right here? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jim Carrey? Jeff Daniels? Oh my goodness. You want to talk about absolute peak? I know at least 3 of you guys have a favorite line from this movie. That's how good a movie it is. That's how banger a movie it is. I know at least 3 of you. The Dogmobile's classic. And then Lloyd sells the Dogmobile, pulls back up with a motorcycle. Jeff Daniels' character is just standing there. Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself! Yes! Yes! Baby! That's what we came to see. That shit right there, fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. We got We Play in here too. Just if anybody was wondering. We got that too. I ain't got a Wii, but we got We Play. And don't you forget it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot too. Speaking of, I feel like this one doesn't get as much credit as it deserves because they made an unnecessary sequel. And this was back before sequels were coming out left, right, and center. This was in the early days. This should have been a warning shot. Bruce Almighty does not get the recognition it deserves, bro. Bruce Almighty was a fucking banger. A fucking banger right here. Bruce Almighty was incredible. It was incredible. Put me on, Captain. Dude, there's so many fun moments in that movie. There's so many fun moments. Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston's hilarious. And she can be hilarious while playing the straight man in a comedy duo. And that is hard to do. But we saw her do that for 10 seasons on Friends for the most part. In almost every situation, she played the straight man because she was either in a conversation with someone wacky like Phoebe or Monica or Chandler, or someone stupid like Joey or Ross. So we knew Jennifer Aniston could play the straight man in a comedy duo, light work, no problem. You put her to play the straight man up against one of the funniest motherfuckers that has ever stepped foot on a movie set. Brother, it's GG's. Brother, it's GG's. Banger movie, but just because it had a shitty sequel, people often forget about Bruce Almighty. All they think about is Evan Almighty. This guy right here, bro. This guy right here. Mwah. Fucking childhood. Alright. I'm done bugging y'all about the DVDs. We'll get back to the video. Fucking go in, please. Thank you. You just have to ask. Nicely. I'm hearing you out, and we'll watch it in the hotel tomorrow night. That or continue the MCU streak. Those are both pretty good. Those are both pretty cool. Or both. Both is good. Both is good. Both is cool. Whew. My friend's hosting some car event in the Carolina Mountains. Them good old mountains. I don't know Carolina's portions that well, but I know home that well. But yes, okay. Let's get back to the dog.
Poor people.
So, for those of you that were not here when we first started the video and came in while we were looking through DVDs, basically we are currently talking about a gentleman who was living in Chicago at the time as a jazz enthusiast, a jazz lover. I think he was also a jazz critic at this time as well. But he was living during a great boom during that impressionable period in history. And he was remarking upon the fact that it was taking place in a very, very riot heavy area. And then we remarked upon Abbie Hoffman, and then that's how we got off onto that tangent. So let's get back to it.
Or there were I guess done with markers, hand-lettered signs on the windows for the markets, the meat markets and various and it said, bucket of hog maws, $1.
Let's go back a couple seconds.
And here's how poor people were. Out the window at the market, busted, looking out the window because there's nothing else to do. And I'm sitting there looking out the window at the markets as they go by. And here's how poor people were. There were I guess done with markers, hand-lettered signs on the windows for the markets, the meat markets and various like. And it said, bucket of hog maws, $1.
Oh.
Hog maw is a hog maw's the mouth of the hog. Pig's feet, $1 a bucket. Chitlins, which are of course chitterlings to us white folks, but chitlins, which is the worst thing in the world, and chitlins you eat when you can't get steak. Nobody eats chitlins voluntarily. I mean, it may be soul food to a lot of people. They may have romanticized it, but chitlins, I'd rather have a marlin spike driven through the left side of my head than have to eat chitlins. And there was a big sign, chitlins, $1. Much as you can carry in a pail, a bucket. You would bring a lunch bucket and fill it up with chitlins.
$1 as much as you can carry. Yeah, that's a steal. Wow. I wish. You can have it, Bubba. I've eaten a lot of things. I've eaten a lot of things. I've eaten a lot of things I probably shouldn't have. Chitlins are bad, bro. Chitlins are bad. I'd rather have squirrel brain stew. No bullshit. I'd pick squirrel brain stew over chitlins 10 out of 10 times. You do what you gotta do. This is true. This is true. You do have to do what you have to do. But saying I wish is crazy. I understand saying I wish for the price, but not for the product. I can't co-sign the product. It ain't for me. It ain't for me.
Which is all the crap that was left over from the pigs after they slaughtered them. Well, I got out. Can't remember where it was. Way deep in the south side. And walked down the street and went up the stairs to Pony's apartment. And I could smell chitlins cooking or frying or deep fatting or whatever the hell they did with them, purifying them somehow. And I tell you, I had to stop on the staircase because my gorge became buoyant. And
my gorge became buoyant.
It's a memory, a sensory memory that I can recall as clearly as if it was yesterday. And I got up there and we had the big party. And it was Pony and a whole bunch of Cedar Walton was there. And there was a guy who was a sax player, Officer Lem Winchester. He was a cop who oddly enough died in a bar where he was drinking one night playing Russian roulette with a bunch of other people. And they were just dicking around and he lost. And
I've never heard of anyone, any happy person genuinely playing Russian roulette. Oh my goodness. Playing Russian roulette in a bar on the south side of Chicago sounds like some 70s shit to do. There was a reason he was playing. Touche, Bubba, touche.
And Winchester was there, and Eric Dolphy was there, and all these young guys just coming up, and they were all worshiping at the throne of Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. And Annie was the sweetest woman in the world. She cooked like a son of a bitch. And Davey and John were there, and we all sat around just shucking and jiving for about 5 hours. Those days, that's what you did.
That is such a wonderful turn of phrase. Chucking and jiving. That is that's pretty keen right there, man.
And then everybody
That's
jammed.
pretty nice.
And I sat through one of the best jam sessions I've ever been in. And now when I look at old Blue Note records, and I've got, I don't know, 10,000 jazz albums, and there isn't a year goes by that some incredibly wealthy Japanese collector of vinyl doesn't knock on my door unannounced and come in and say, you know, Ellison-san, I know of your collection, I'd like to buy it. And they'll show me cash. I mean, he'll just fan out a wad of cash. And I've never sold them. I've got them still. I've got them all. I've got the thousands downstairs standing up, tightly packed. And I've reviewed most of them. I've reviewed thousands of jazz albums. And I love jazz. And when I start to work on this typewriter, I turn on this Harman Kardon.
He's old school, dude. He's old school. He talks about his time in the military. Was he in Nam? He might have talked about this in the other video. Was he in Vietnam? That makes sense with the pens. These pens right here. Don't know. He might have been. That is interesting. He was just a vocal opponent of it. Ah. Ah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the clarification, Superman. I will say that also makes a lot of sense with this right here.
Preamp behind me. And if the camera will pan that way, all the way across the atrium, you will see those two big black things hanging up there that look like the back seat of a 1937 Ford. Come on back. Whatever you feel like it. Those are quad electrostatic screens. They are not cone speakers. They are 3 mil thick mylar foam, electrostatically charged. They pick up each sound and project it so clearly that you can tell how much rosin the violinist has on his bows. And when I get...
Holy shit. This is my favorite part. Okay, heard.
I live on the top of the mountain here, and over here is the valley. When down there some quadling from the music industry or the film industry late a Friday or a Saturday night cranks up this god-awful crap that they play these days, I put on the Chicago Symphony with Frederick Fennell conducting the 1812 Overture of Tchaikovsky, which has the cannons, the actual cannons in it, and I crank it up to, I don't know, about 4. 4 on here makes this whole room shake as if it were a temblor. And I open the door to the valley, and it's like an echo chamber. I mean, it's just I'm in the ravine here, and it goes straight down at incredible power, and people are screaming, and dogs are hibernating with cats, and babies' heads are exploding, and ears are shedding blood. And after a while, I can turn off my music, and it's dead quiet down below. Been doing that for about 30 years. I love jazz, and I've known the...
Been doing that about 30 years. Nice. Nice, Bubba, nice. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, tit for tat, eye for an eye, fair is fair, I suppose.
Great and the near great. I knew Benny Goodman, and I've got everything all the way back to Lightning Lightning Hopkins and Bessie Smith and early 1900s, all the way up through the Golden Age, which was through the 70s. I was one of the first people to hear Chet Baker play. I was there at Blue Note Records the night that Chet Baker broke out of Lexington Narcotics Farm, where he was supposed to be in rehab, and showed up with his teeth in very bad shape, never took care of his teeth or his gums. And they pulled together a jam session with some of the best sidemen in the Philly Joe Jones.
Can you fucking imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Imagine for a moment. You're sitting there in rehab. Fucking nothing in your mouth but gums and tongue. Just fucking. Sitting here just so aggressively sober, I could scream. And I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta break out of rehab. Because I feel a jammy jam coming on. Bro started dead ass. Brother started twitching his hands because of the withdrawal, and was like, I gotta. Dude, I know he was strumming out of his fucking mind. They said they recorded that session. Is that what they said? They said they recorded that session? Lord Jesus.
And may have been Cedar Walton, and may have been Bill Evans, and they cut a 10, 12 cut set, and I was there that night. I've been into jazz all my life. I love jazz, love classical music. Haven't got much of an affection for country music. I don't hate it, but it ain't my thing. And opera drives me out of my mind. When they talk about the fat lady singing, if you listen closer in the background, you'll hear the scrawny little Jewish guy screaming. Well, that's all I have to say about jazz. If anybody wants to ask me a question, I worked with Charlie Mingus. I worked with him at the Showplace in Greenwich Village in 1960, 61. And Ornette Coleman and Thelonious Monk. And I went in between there when they were taking a break, when they were taking 5. I get up and do comedy. I did stand-up. And I gotta tell you this story. There was a night when
I will say, this is indicative of like a lot of art, specifically improvisation. Improvisers love other improvisers. It does not matter. It does not matter. I'll tell you right now, some of your favorite hip hop artists, some of your favorite like some of your favorite rappers and things like that, guarantee you, growing up, adored a comedian. Adored a comedian. Especially if they reminded them of themselves. If you could tell that it was a really well written set, like I believe I remember. And and the crazy thing is, it works both ways. The admiration works both ways. So very often. It's the same with improvisation in terms of like sketch comedy as well. Dude, I've heard so many accounts of like people on people on shows like SNL and stuff like that, just hip hop artists fucking eating that shit up. And especially back in the day too. Dude, during the 70s, back when SNL was doing cocaine, oh my goodness, dude. These dudes were, people were fucking loving it. Back when it had some teeth to it. Back when it had some true blue teeth to it. But, I mean, we're unfortunately also in a period in time where satire has just in general has lost a lot of its bite because the world just feels so satirical right now. Bring back some coke instead of these opioids, man. That's what I'm saying. Look, if you're gonna look, I do not condone doing anything more than marijuana, and you will never get that opinion out of me. But I mean, if you are gonna go to infinity and beyond, you're exactly, yeah. Just do coke. Like, do not do coke. Do not. But you guys get what I'm saying, man. We're not getting into this shit. We're not getting.
When Mingus.
You guys are gonna get me in trouble, man. You guys are gonna get me in trouble, man. You see, I want to joke around on the internet too, but I'm the one with my face up here. 3 years later, a fucking cram it down your throat reporter just pulls up that clip out of context like it's a court of law. Now, did you say this online? Nah. They have a very mild Coke tea in South America that I'd like to try one day. And the crowd goes mild. Absolutely. I bet they have a not so mild version of that as well. I bet nobody is surprised by this information. I guarantee you they got something a lot stronger than a mild Coke tea. Them boys will have you awake for days. For days. I don't want anything stronger as a tourist. Touche, Bubba, touche.
Mingus was off here on the left with the bass. Big stand-up bass.
Also, I do gotta say, we're about an hour in. We did not get into yapping today. We might stay a little long after a while and do maybe like 20 minutes of just everybody chatting. That's how we'll end stream to accommodate. That's what we'll do.
Over on the other side was Eric Dolphy playing a Pakistani pocket trumpet. Bill Evans was on the piano.
I don't know how to spell that word, thank God. I don't know how to spell Pakistan. Does it look different than just a regular pocket trumpet? I've seen these before. I saw somebody playing this shit on the streets of New Orleans, actually. It was, I'm like I said, I'm bad with names, but it was just outside of a beignet shop down in the French Quarter. I'm sure it was like a big touristy place or whatever, but we were actually across the street. Um, we were across the street in one of these just random fucking foot massage places because like we'd been walking the last 10 hours. We'd just been doing nothing but walking. And then for some reason, we were all half drunk, but for some reason, we were like, dude, we got to go in here and get this fucking foot massage. But as me and my brother, dude, we were just, me and my brother, we were just sitting here fucking yapping to each other, and then we hear like a trio just walking by, and they end up parking up stop right outside that beignet spot, because like I said, it was like it's a big deal. There's a lot of like people over there, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I remember hearing it. I think that's the only time I've ever seen that instrument played live. I think all other times have been in recording.
Bill Evans accompanied me when I sang. He was my sideman. One of the great things in my life. And there was somebody, I can't remember who was on drums at the time. Somebody was on drums. And in the middle of a number, something happened, and Dolphy blew a really bad note. Bad note. And it was a small audience. But Mingus, slowly and carefully, who was a big man, and even at rest he was pretty ominous and foreboding. Mingus set the bass aside against the back curtain, got up off his high stool, walked across this short stage, but as far as I am for the camera, to Dolphy, and hit him in the forehead. And hit him so fucking hard, Dolphy went right down. Bam! Just bam! Hit the deck. Out cold. Mingus turned, everybody was stunned. The group stumbled a little bit and, on a chord. Then went back to doing what they were doing. The drummer paradiddling like mad so that he wouldn't get hit. Mingus went back to his bass and picked up and did some great riffs. Dolphy came to and sat up, and already a gigantic lump was forming on his forehead, which he had till the day he died. And he got up and groggily stood up and leaned against the curtain. There was a flat behind it. And after a little while, he picked up this, no, it was Don Cherry on the Pakistani pocket trumpet. Dolphy was playing sax. That's what it was. Don Cherry was the Pakistani pocket trumpet. Dolphy gets the sax and tweets and hoodles and boo, 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 until he finally got his chops back. And then after about 5-10 minutes, because Mingus really hit him hard, he was okay, he was playing again. Set was over, they took
What? What the whiplash? What the fuck? Hit him? Okay, hold on. So, bro's sitting there, high strumming. Sets the bass down. Knocks his sax out cold. Gives that motherfucker a may not. A maybe it will, maybe it won't not. As in come out. Till the day he dies. 'Cause brother hit a aggressively wrong note. These boys were serious, brother. Good God. That's an intensity right there. That's an intensity. Bow wow wow.
5, I went on.
What the fuck?
Audience suffered through me. Small audience, little club, upstairs.
Like, okay, don't get me wrong. It makes sense coming from him. It makes sense coming from the environment, sure. Like he said, this is South Chicago. These are like notoriously aggressive people. Like it makes sense, but that doesn't make it any less fucking wild, bro. That's that's making art in treacherous conditions.
14th Street, I think it was. Met all the other jazz clubs down there in that golden era. And when I got done, I went down. I sat in the front row because that was my gig. There was to listen to the music. I got to listen for nothing. And they went back up and they started playing again. And in the middle of the first number, Dolphy blew a riff that was so muscular and so pungent and so cool that Mingus put aside his bass and got out of his chair and came across to Dolphy. Dolphy cringed like in the Big Knife, Rod Steiger.
I know brother was thinking in his head, I can't do a dick right, bro. Are you gonna kill me this time? What the fuck did I do wrong now? It was too good. Yeah. No, if it's too good, then they just go, then you just hear. Puts the bass down, the revolver clicks.
When Jack Palance was about to belt him, and he covered up like this, and Mingus pushed his hands down and kissed him full on the mouth. Went back, picked up his bass, and went back to playing. It was one of the most engaging nights of my life. I am filled to the brim with great stories like that are all lost to the dusts and mists of time. Now, if you don't know any of these people that I'm mentioning to you, all available to you. You have access to all the music in the world. And I hope those of you who are intrigued by what I say will go on to find these people who really matter. I'm going to turn up the music now.
We better get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm not trying to get my ears blown up. Nice. Good stuff. Is this the Blue Moon of Kentucky song that you was telling me about? Alright, we'll check this out too then. My grandpa plays this song on his harmonica. Holy shit. I was like, I've heard this, but I didn't know the song had words. Holy shit. That's fucking crazy. And they whispered from up high. Yeah, that's a Kentucky boy right there. Damn, comments turned off. That's crazy. Oh shit, that's that. Oh fuck, what's it called? That's that fucking thing that you lay down on your fucking lap and fucking. I know that. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, this song reminds me a lot of my uncle. I feel like bluegrass really loves that style of chord progression. You start on a high note and then do a little two step down. Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining, and then just keeps going down. I feel like I hear that shit a lot in bluegrass. It always reminds me of like walking down a staircase. What'd you think about it? It reminded me of my grandpa playing the harmonica on the back porch of his house. I've heard that song though. With the big iron on his hip, the big iron on his head. But yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you for two wonderful recommendations. And after those wonderful recommendations, guys, we are we are going to get right into doom scrolling. We're gonna see what YouTube had to offer. I liked it. I liked it as well. Round of applause for Superman. Some pretty good recommendations today. I got a wonderful stroll down memory lane and got put on to some absolutely banger new jazz musicians. I knew probably maybe four of the guys he was talking about. I didn't know many of them. And a few of the names I'd just heard in passing before, just in conversation. Hip hip hooray. Pimp pimp. Hooray. Pimp pimp. Hooray. Pimp pimp. Hooray. But yeah, with that being said, guys, let's get into let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's see if we can find anything worth watching today. Um, any news? Did any new trailers come out today? Anything like that? I feel like I heard something earlier today and then said I'm gonna wait and hear about and watch this on stream. Did any trailers come out today? Does anybody know?
That latest one you wrote.
I've clearly watched some of this before. Fucking banger. Off the top of my head, no, and I didn't find anything looking it up. Okay, heard. Okay, heard. Yeah, this is the guy that does the Cocaine Blues song. I've heard that one before. I like that one. Well, tell it to me. I did not mean to click that. Tell it to me, tell it to me. Hey, little buddy, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Ding, 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 ding. Ask for videos you like. No. Dude, did they change how YouTube looks or some shit? I feel like this shit looks different than when the last time we was on it. We're watching shit on my fucking on the wrong account. We're watching Oh my gosh, we're watching that shit on the YouTube account. On the Ozymandias VOD channel. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I did not mean to do that. Oh yeah, and I dropped another video. That reminds me, I did drop another video on the VOD channel yesterday, and I'm probably gonna drop this one off on there today. Okay. Okay. Geez, man, your recommended page is starting to look like mine. Yeah, okay. This looks like a lot more of the usual shit that I've been watching. Now, don't. Here's the thing. Don't. I'm just gonna keep it a P. I'm gonna keep it a P. I've been watching. Don't judge me. I've been watching a whole lot of this guy. I discovered him first time I ever saw this guy pop up on my feed or anything. I discovered him like at work on Saturday, like Saturday morning. I did nothing but uh well, I did some writing, but apart from that, I did nothing but watch like a bunch of this guy's videos. This dude's fucking awesome. Fucking love this guy. His chat is horrendous. Over the weekend I was talking about seeing shitty chats. This dude's chat's what I was talking about, bro. That shit was depressing. They have rage baited the fuck out of that man. Oh yeah. The big UFC fight thing happened on Sunday. That's crazy. I wonder if anything wild happened. Okay. This is looking a lot more like my For You page, but I'm just not seeing anything here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Lock in with me, y'all. So, do you guys remember yesterday? Yes, at the post-fight interview and Sean Strickland question mark and reportedly interventions from the FBI. Do what? What? Should we watch a video about that? What's a reliable source? Who's somebody that's going to tell me the truth? And then they can add their opinions about it in if they want to, I guess. 5 were arrested reportedly. Should we check something like that? Well, I don't usually cover political shit on here. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll stick to our lane, guys. We'll stick to our lane. We don't usually cover sports I mean, we cover basketball, but yeah. Yeah, ditto. Yeah. Okay. So, this is
So the Long Halloween is
yeah, this is the long Halloween. So, does it who all was here yesterday? Because we talked about the long Halloween a little bit. This is one of my favorite runs on Batman ever. And it had a really shitty animated portrayal recently. Like, I think it was 2023. Just god fucking awful. But the comic book is incredible. I was here yesterday. Okay, so yes. Okay, so we remember what was going on with the long Halloween. Let's check this shit out.
arguably the most iconic Batman story ever written, with the greatest twist ending of any Batman story that's ever been done. And so this spans 13 issues, starts on Halloween, runs for a year, and it ends on Halloween. So obviously this is going to be kind of a chunky video. But what this does here is this initially opens up by basically just kind of establishing who the major players are in
The art in this, a lot of people hate on the like character designs and shit. I love it. I fucking love it.
this story. And so outside of Batman and James Gordon, who's actually a captain in this story and not a commissioner, as well as Harvey Dent, you've got Carmine Falcone and you've got Sal Maroni, right? As most of you guys know, the heads of the 2 crime families in the city of Gotham, each one vying for control of the city. And then from there, it just kind of breaks down in
For maybe my movie fans who don't know the comics that well, you guys will probably still be a little familiar with him. If you guys remember, Carmine Falcone was the mob boss in Batman Begins with Christian Bale. He was also the mob boss in the Batman movie that the Riddler shoots. That was also Carmine Falcone. Now Salvatore Maroni, you guys might be a little less clear. He is also in The Dark Knight. He's not as big a deal, and there's a lot of names in that movie that you have to remember, so I don't blame you for forgetting it. In in Christopher Nolan's universe, after Carmine Falcone gets put away in Arkham, Salvatore Maroni takes over the power struggle in Gotham. In the comics, usually during the year one arcs and stuff like that, Salvatore Maroni and Carmine Falcone are like opposing gangs, basically. It's not one takes over after the other's gone. It is they are at war with one another. So you've got right here very, very clearly very Godfather-esque. And then you've got Salvatore Maroni, who's a bit more of a hothead.
to regular players, but the big villain in this story is actually the Holiday Killer. You are going to see Batman's traditional villains in here, but honestly, they're not really the main focus for most of this. And so what this does is this opens up with basically a wedding party that was thrown for Johnny Vitti, the nephew of Carmine Falcone. The idea was that Johnny Vitti was supposedly going to turn state's witness against Falcone, and then lo and behold, he changed his mind, decided not to testify, and suddenly he's got a great big huge beautiful wedding being funded for him, right? So clearly money changed hands, and it's just designed to show the nature of the corruption that goes on within the city of Gotham. But then you switch over to Harvey Dent. Now Harvey Dent is a huge part of this story, both in terms of what he does alongside Batman and James Gordon, but also because of how his character evolves. Because as most of you guys know, the Long Halloween is really most notorious for being the post-Crisis on Infinite Earths origin for Two-Face. And so what you end up getting with Harvey Dent is he's just kind of like there at the party, just taking down like license plates and stuff like that. So we can just kind of figure out who it is that's all a part of this story, right? When you have a giant mob event going on, there's going to be some heavy hitters there, not just criminals, but like politicians, people like that who are clearly, guilty of corruption in the city. Of course, this leads to some of, Falcone's men showing up and kind of roughing up Harvey Dent a little bit, and he's more or less sent along his way. But what you end up doing here is you switch over to Batman going to the penthouse of Carmine Falcone. The intention here is to basically find information that can be used to try to bring down Falcone, because that's initially the
Another thing, the Long Halloween, it's not necessarily just so you can get a gauge on timeline for Batman, so you can tell how experienced he is throughout the story. It's not year one Batman or like year two or year three. This is a relatively new Batman. He doesn't have Robin yet. He hasn't gotten Dick Grayson. You're looking at in terms of the timeline. Think year 5, year 6. I imagine in my head that this usually happens just before uh Two Face goes to the the Flying Grayson's circus and Dick Grayson's family's killed. I believe that this happens in my personal headcanon just a little bit before that. Harvey was a reporter or a cop. He's actually DA, district attorney, in the comics. But he might be a little lower on the flagpole. He might be a DA actually. He might still be the DA.
main focus
Good question, Leather Rockets.
of Batman in the story. Take down the two major crime families in Gotham and then sort of sort things out from there. Of course, Catwoman's there, and then the two of them kind of get into a bit of a scuffle. Catwoman is kind of an on-again, off-again important.
Catwoman is drawn so cool. This shit right here is gas. Oh yeah? Mm-hmm.
Character in the story, so you're really going to see her more floating around over the course of this than anything else. But in the midst of their scuffle, some of Falcone's men come busting in, they shoot the place up, and then Falcone takes it all as a personal affront, right? Because this kind of invasion of his penthouse is in the place where he lives, right? Where he says, my children sleep here on my nephew's wedding day. And so what ends up happening is Maroni shows up and actually kind of starts giving Falcone a hard time. Like, there was a time when people just would not have dared to do anything like this. It looks like your grip on Gotham is loosening, old man. People don't take you as seriously as they used to. And because he can't just kill Maroni on the spot, right? Otherwise it would start some kind of a gang war. He ends up putting out a bounty on Batman and Catwoman that's worth about $1 million. And so while that's not really a major...
Like I said, Maroni's a lot more of a hothead. Bro immediately came in there and just started instigating. And bro had to be like, well, somebody get this man the fuck out of my face. Or, no, he says it down here. What does he say? Milos, get Mr. Maroni here a drink.
major point in the story. It does kind of show the lengths he'll go to, right, to kind of go after people who are basically attacking him. But what you do is you switch over to Batman, Harvey Dent, and Gordon. And what they do is they make this really, really cool kind of agreement here, right, where they say, okay, our main focus are the crime families of Gotham. And they've got politicians and judges and all kinds of people in their pocket. So we can't just like arrest them and put them in front of a judge because the judge will just let them off for whatever reason. So what they decide to do is not necessarily break the law, because if they did, their roles within the city of Gotham would largely be irrelevant. Instead, they decide to kind of cook the books a bit and use the legal system in their favor in order to essentially oust these guys. And the first thing they do is they go after the mobsters' money. Now, you guys probably recall that from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, specifically the Joker and
The Dark Knight, he did take heavy inspiration from The Long Halloween, which a lot of people do. A lot of people do, because it's such a good Batman story.
Batman's actions at the end of Batman Begins when he went after the mob directly. This is really where a lot of that was drawn from. Insofar as what ends up happening is Bruce Wayne, as part of the board of directors for the Gotham City Bank, actually seizes control of the board and effectively forces Richard Daniel to resign. Richard Daniel being the guy who essentially was in charge of it, and he was the guy that was basically making it possible for the Falcones and all those guys to effectively launder money through the various banks and institutions of the city. And so where Batman just intimidates this guy, just literally leaves him scared for his life, he resigns. And so following that, what ends up happening is Falcone ends up basically recalling Johnny Vitti back to the States, and then Johnny Vitti kills Richard Daniel. Now following this is where you get into the Holiday Killer, because what goes on is the Holiday Killer takes this 22 caliber pistol.
This is it right here. First one.
With the handle taped up, files off the serial numbers, and then puts basically a bottle nipple on the end to treat it as kind of like a makeshift silencer, and kills Johnny Vitti. And so following that, you have this kind of meeting between Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent, where it's kind of like, okay, so who would have the balls to kill the nephew of one of Gotham's most powerful crime lords? Like, it takes some cojones to do something like that. And they're just kind of like throwing options at the wall, right? Carla Vitti, for example, who is basically a member of the Falcone family, but she runs Chicago, but she's always trying to find a way to make a move into Gotham. So essentially it's entirely possible that
And I love the lighting too. I love because you use the shadows as a decision of what not to draw. Batman is so, there's so little of him drawn. He's able to stick to those shadows, as well as Gordon's desk mostly, but you can still see the evidence, like the evidence bags around the things that the Holiday Killer left at the crime scene. Because what he does is he always leaves the baby bottle cap, the gun with the taped up grip, the sawed off serial numbers, 2 bullets, and since the first one starts on Halloween, he leaves a jack-o'-lantern.
she could have just killed her own son or something along those lines. It's a mystery. Nobody really knows exactly what's going on. And truth to tell, there's no way they could definitively know. And so Batman, realizing they're being spied on by Catwoman, ends up tracking her down to the roof next to them. And then it's just kind of like, look, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You're involved in the criminal underworld. I need to know what the mobsters are doing with their money. Because with Bruce Wayne seizing control of the Gotham City Bank, he basically cut off all the mobsters within the city of Gotham from being able to fund their money into the bank. So they have to kind of figure out where it is they're going to put it. Again, that was borrowed by Christopher Nolan in The Dark Knight, when they all turned to the Joker and that one guy from China, and they all put their money in a giant facility, right? Joker.
Hey, who is this guy? Comics Explained? This guy knows his shit.
Burns it all down. That's exactly what happens here. Harvey Dent and Batman locate the warehouse where all this money is being held, and they torch the joint, right? They burn the whole thing down. Now, because of the fact that it became very clear to Falcone and Maroni and everybody else that this is clearly Harvey Dent, or at least he's involved in some capacity, they bomb his house. They literally blow his house up. And so following that, Batman basically tracks down a guy by the name of Mickey. And Mickey was the one who essentially helped to orchestrate the hit on the house of Harvey Dent. And Harvey Dent's believed to be dead alongside his wife, right? It's just kind of like, wow. right? Like they're effectively done and out of the picture. And so what ends up happening is after the interrogation, when essentially Mickey just won't really spill the beans, right? Like, I don't know who the Roman is, this Falcone guy that you're talking about. I mean, I don't, it's weird and just kind of playing dumb that he's essentially sent back down to join the rest of his brothers in jail. And so what they do is they kind of work together, right? They kind of strike this deal where it's like, if any of us go down, then we all go down together, right? None of us ends up going down alone. And so Jimmy Slick, Dapper Kevin, Willie Two Times, Donny Boy, they all basically come out and confess how each one of them were involved in some capacity in basically setting this bomb off, right? Like, Jimmy Slick says that it was me that drove the getaway car, that Dapper Kevin says I delivered the package to the woman, to Dent's wife, that Willie Two Times says I followed Dent home, right? And Donny Boy says, like, I'm the one that pulled the kill switch, right? That kind of thing. And so what ends up happening is when Mickey's brought back, you end up finding out it's not actually Mickey. It's Harvey, right? Harvey in disguise. And he wasn't really able to get any incriminating evidence from them or any kind of statements that indicated that they were told directly by Falcone to basically kill Harvey Dent. And so what ends up happening is there's a kind of disagreement between Harvey and Gordon, because Gordon wants to arrest him. But Harvey's stance is like, if we do, some crooked judge is going to put him right back out on the street. So what we do is we let him walk. Then we put word on the street that they cut a deal. And we do that to see how Falcone reacts. But at the end of the day, Jim Gordon doesn't go for it. And instead, what ends up happening is within an hour, they're all basically freed on bail. But then the holiday killer strikes, this time on Thanksgiving. That when they're all gathered together, the holiday killer shows up, guns them all down, and then leaves a cornucopia. Also, during the first killing with Johnny Vitti, the holiday killer left a pumpkin. And that's going to be the MO that you're going to see over the course of this. The holiday killer is going to leave the weapon, and then the holiday killer is going to leave some kind of an artifact that's representative of the holiday in which that person or group of people were killed.
Does anybody have any theories? Anybody got any theories about? Obviously, I know about this comic book. We're kind of doing this to cue y'all in. But has anybody got any theories about who they think it could be? No looking it up. I'll know if you're cheating. Bruce? Interesting choice. Let's see if it pans out.
And so this is when you get to see some of Batman's traditional rogues gallery joining the story. And the first of these comes in the form of Calendar Man. Calendar Man is really going to be here more as, at least the way the internet describes it, which is a phenomenal way to do it, a kind of Hannibal Lecter type guy, where basically he kind of gives clues to Batman and Commissioner Gordon, or at least Captain Gordon at this point.
Fun fact, he does something very similar to this in Arkham City. Matter of fact, since we're just doom scrolling.
But on leap year 29. But on leap year 29. Well, well, well. And on today of all days, do you remember my early work? Flawed, but it showed promise.
What is this cutting back and forth nonsense we're doing here, brother? Can we get to the meat and potatoes?
But it showed promise, just like you. As your skills improved, I perfected mine. Starting with seasons and moving through the weeks, I became stronger. My work more elaborate. Days were the secret, Batman, and the end of days is coming. I was there at your beginning, and I will be there at your end.
I remember that one.
30 days hath September,
April, June, and November. the rest 31.
In the story on who the holiday killer is and when the holiday killer is going to strike next. Seemingly, Calendar Man knows who the holiday killer is, but we don't definitively know if Calendar Man knows. But because their MOs are very similar in the sense that Calendar Man usually killed people on like holidays or significant dates and would actually model the entire crime after that significant date, that there's kind of insight here that otherwise couldn't be gleaned by Batman or anybody else. And so that's when you pick up with the Joker. The Joker's not super important in this story, which is actually kind of intriguing. If anything, the Joker sees the holiday killer more as competition than anything else, because the holiday killer has kind of captured the imaginations of like the citizens of Gotham. And there's all kinds of theories out there, one of which is that Harvey Dent himself is the holiday killer. Now, a lot of this is more circumstantial than anything else. For example, Harvey Dent always seems to be quote unquote missing in those instances when like individuals are killed by the holiday killer. He seems to sneak out at the right time. There's ample opportunity and motive for him to be the holiday killer. And that's what the Joker says, right? When the Joker like shows up here to kind of taunt Harvey Dent.
The way they draw his smile is absurd.
It's like, if I find out that you're actually the holiday killer, I'm not going to be as lenient as I am this time around. Now, the other part of this is the marriage between Harvey Dent and his wife, Gilda, is incredibly strained because of his obsession with both work and the holiday murders. And so because of that, Harvey Dent is kind of neglectful of his wife in a lot of different ways. But as far as the holiday killer themselves, this actually takes place on New Year's Eve. And the person who's killed by the holiday killer is Milton Grappa, basically a bodyguard of Falcone. Now, one of the things that's really interesting here is a snow globe is left, but beyond that, when Batman picks it up and Batman looks at it, that he realizes that between this and like other crimes that are going to come later, that the holiday killer seems to be able to get very close to individuals, which seems to indicate that the holiday killer actually knows who these people are, specifically in relation to the Falcone family, because those are the only individuals who are being targeted. Now, another character that actually kind of becomes important, relatively speaking, over the course of this is a guy by the name of Vernon. Now, Vernon becomes important later on in relation to like Harvey Dent and the whole Moroni trial and so on and so forth. But in this instance, he actually sets Harvey Dent on a kind of path that leads him to essentially colliding with Batman. Because what happens is that Vernon shows up with some documentation saying that there seems to be a connection between the Wayne family and the Falcone family. And so this leads Harvey down the path of just saying, okay, my job is to investigate any and all possible leads that are out there, regardless of how extreme they may be. And that's exactly what he does. But for the next murder of the holiday killer, it actually comes with Alberto Falcone. He's actually shot on a yacht and just kind of floats out into the water dead. And so again, more members of the Falcone family are being targeted here. And then following that, you have a quick little meeting that takes place between Harvey and Jim Gordon, where Harvey says like, we need to talk about Bruce Wayne because I've uncovered some information that's pretty concerning. But for the Joker himself, the whole idea of
Also, I think I noticed this, but I didn't say it. The snow globe one, that was for Christmas. That was not for New Year's. Uh, he killed Falcone's son on New Year's.
the Joker is to basically just like gas the city of Gotham, right? I mean, it's just Joker doing Joker stuff. He's obviously defeated by Batman, and that's effectively it. But when you switch over to Dent and Gordon traveling to Wayne Manor, they actually meet with Alfred because, of course, Bruce isn't really there at the moment. And they start asking questions, right? What do you know about the connection between Thomas Wayne and like the Falcone family and so on and so forth? And while it does involve jumping ahead a little bit, even though we'll circle back around, then all you really end up learning here is that Vincent Falcone, the father of Carmine Falcone, had brought Carmine to Thomas Wayne after there was an attempt on Carmine's life. And Thomas Wayne had tended to the injuries of Carmine Falcone and effectively saved his life. And so because of that, there seems...
They also alluded that this was the case as well in the Batman movie. If you guys remember the scene at the funeral that Bruce attends for the mayor of Gotham, and I was gonna say and his wife, but no, it's just the mayor of Gotham. Yeah. He sees Falcone on the steps, and they actually have a discussion about this exact event occurring.
to be a kind of history and relationship, right? Like the Falcone family owed Thomas Wayne, and so the two groups had effectively been in bed together for quite some time. Now, again, we'll circle back around to that here in a little bit, but what takes place after this almost
Oh,
immediate
yeah.
revelation is that you actually have Batman who's ensnared by Poison Ivy, which is kind of cool because Poison Ivy had been contracted by Falcone. The idea being that while the crime families of Gotham usually stay away from major villains like Poison Ivy or the Joker or something like that, considering them largely to be freaks, at the end of the day, strange times make for strange bedfellows. And so Poison Ivy is here for the purpose of ensnaring Bruce Wayne and then actually making life easier for the Falcone family. But again, focusing on the holiday killings, what goes on here is that the holiday killer actually shifts their MO. Instead of going after the members of Falcone's own entourage, they target Maroni. Specifically, they target a bunch of Maroni's henchmen on Valentine's Day. These guys get shot to pieces and their car blows up, and then in turn, the gun is left with what looks to be a box of chocolates. And not only is it the individuals who were in the car, it's these guys who were in the restaurant, right? I mean, they were just kind of shot all to pieces. It's somewhat bonkers. And so again, switching over to what was going on with Poison Ivy and Bruce Wayne, it's not a great big huge long drawn out plot point, which honestly I think is great. It's really more temporary than anything else in the sense that under the control of Poison Ivy, Bruce Wayne as the head of the Gotham City Bank board is like, I've actually changed my mind. We should start letting mob money run freely through the entirety of the banking industry, and we're going to start doing business with Falcone imports and so on and so forth, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars and so on and so forth. And the bank is basically excited about this, right? I mean, they realize there's criminal enterprises going on here, but truth to tell, like the job of the bank is to make money, and they don't really care how they do it. But ultimately, Batman is freed from the influence of Poison Ivy when Catwoman figures out what's going on, that literally Bruce just completely ignores her and then gets into a car where seemingly it's very clear that Poison Ivy is there. So of course, Catwoman shows up and she basically attacks Poison Ivy and beats her within an inch of her life and is like, nobody's gonna steal my man and that kind of a thing, right? Like, get out of here, hussy. And then ultimately basically helps to restore Bruce Wayne. But this is when you get into the character of Sophia. For a lot of the guys who are watching The Penguin at the moment, I will say Sophia in The Penguin has way more character development than she ever did in The Long Halloween.
Yes, yes, that is very true. If you guys have seen The Penguin, Sophia Falcone, that is some of the best Sophia Falcone content that is out there. Apart from maybe, I would also recommend the TV show Gotham. But I'm incredibly biased. I just think the TV show Gotham is fucking incredible.
So much so that she's like a major player in the Penguin show. She never achieves that level of significance in the story. If anything, she does kind of tie in the sense that in The Long Halloween, Sophia is sort of galvanizing the different members of the mob family. Like one of the things she does, for example, is she meets with her aunt Carla, the sister of Carmine Falcone, and it's kind of like, look what's going on here, right? Like somebody's going after us and now they're going after the Maronis. But because she was freed from Gotham Penitentiary as opposed to Arkham Asylum in the Penguin show, what ends up happening is when she shows up here with Carla and is talking about Maroni and Falcone, all that kind of stuff, the idea, right? Like somebody's going after us and now they're going after the Maronis. But because she was freed from Gotham Penitentiary as opposed to Arkham Asylum in the Penguin show, what ends up happening is when she shows up here with Carla and is talking about Maroni and Falcone, all that kind of stuff, the idea here is that Falcone thinks that either Maroni is the holiday killer or knows who the holiday killer is. And so Falcone's like, we're going to take Maroni out. We need to know that you're not going to make a move against us and use this kind of opportunity to seize control of what used to be Maroni's empire. We're not going to have to worry about you being any kind of an enemy. And so the response of Carla is largely, no, you don't have to worry about me, right? Money's flowing the way that it should be now that the whole banking situation is sorted out. So you don't have to worry about me coming after you or anything like that. And so following that, you switch over to St. Patrick's Day, when another group of Maroni's guys are killed by the holiday killer. This time, a kind of leprechaun figurine is left behind. And so that's when Falcone starts getting in bed with the Riddler and kind of asking the question, like, can you figure out who this guy is? Do you know what's going on? But the reality here is the Riddler doesn't really know, right? I mean, the Riddler doesn't really have any definitive answers here. And in fact, the Riddler almost dies, but the Riddler does put out all these kind of little theories out there, right? Like, what if it turns out that it's actually
Holy shit, a leprechaun did it? That would be nuts. No? Would that not be nuts? Is that the big twist ending?
Carla, right? Like she's looking to take out you and she's looking to take out the Maronis. I mean, if she can wipe all of you out in one fell swoop, it makes perfect sense. And when the question's asked, well, why would she take out her son Johnny Vitti? The response is, I mean, why wouldn't she? Right? To hide her own identity, of course she would kill her son. Like a person that is vying for this level of control, they wouldn't let anything get in their way. And so there's no real clear-cut answers. And Falcone realizes that very quickly. The Riddler doesn't have any real answers whatsoever. Not only that, where Harvey Dent is eyeing Bruce Wayne for either being the Holiday Killer, knowing the Holiday Killer, or somehow being involved with the Falcones, that Bruce Wayne as Batman is actually starting to believe that Harvey Dent might be the Holiday Killer, because all the evidence seems to line up and it seems to point in that direction. And so with Falcone realizing the Riddler has no real answers, the Riddler's just kind of thrown out. But it's April Fool's Day, and so when the Holiday Killer shows up, normally they would have killed the Riddler. Instead, they let the Riddler live. And seemingly it's just some kind of a joke, right? Some kind of a ruse or something along those lines. And so after that, basically all roads turn into this hunt for who the Holiday Killer is. So Theo Falcone goes out there basically operating on behalf of her father to try to like figure out where the Holiday Killer is getting their weapons from, different things like that. But every time she shows up somewhere, right, when she's told that like it's this Chong's tea house where these weapons are made, that like when she gets there, everybody's already dead. It's dead ends everywhere, right? There's no leads of any real kind to indicate who this person is. They simply cover their tracks too well. Not only that, because Harvey Dent is kind of building a case against Bruce Wayne, ultimately he and Jim Gordon actually track Bruce Wayne down. And that's where the story kind of shifts over into this direction of almost a kind of trial of sorts, where Harvey Dent brings in Alfred Pennyworth and that kind of thing to ask questions, right? Kind of a grand jury thing, like, do we have enough information to actually charge Bruce Wayne for anything? And that you essentially have Alfred who's like, look, if there was any involvement between those guys, I'm not aware of them. But truth to tell, it's entirely possible that Thomas Wayne did file a report with the police when Carmine and his father showed up on his doorstep. But truth to tell, like, who is he going to tell? I mean, who's going to believe him, right? If he filed a police report back then, the city was rife with mobsters. It wasn't going to go anywhere. No one's going to like fill out that report and then hand it over to a judge or some higher up and something's going to be done. No, they would just be paid off, or they would be killed for even being willing to write the report in the first place. And so it basically kind of presents this dead end where no one has any real concrete evidence to support the idea that Bruce Wayne is in bed with the Falcone family, or that Bruce Wayne's even the Holiday Killer. Not only that, the father of Sal Maroni, right, Luigi Big Lou Maroni, is killed by the Holiday Killer, and while that's going on, you start to get these kind of early indications of Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face, because there's a point when Gilda comes
Oh
downstairs
yeah, I forgot he did one on Father's Day. That's
into the basement,
that's actually
trying to find
crazy.
her husband to figure out what he's doing, and he's just kind of sitting there sideways with a coin in his hand, and he says, I was so sure that Bruce Wayne was doing favors for the Falcone family, but a jury of my peers did not agree with me. It's like they flipped a coin. Heads he wins, tails I lose. And Bruce Wayne, with all his money, his good family name, goes back to high society, leaving the rest of us to take care of what needs to be done. So you can kind of see this sort of undercurrent, right, taking place, like everything that sort of leads to Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face in the first place. And so all this comes to a head when like Salvatore Maroni shows up on the doorstep, right, literally the office of Harvey Dent, and is like, you want to crack at me, but both of us want Falcone, right? Because the Holiday Killer is effectively inciting a war between both of these families. And so in essence, Maroni agrees to testify against Falcone on everything that Falcone has done. And so what ends up happening is that when Maroni is brought up to basically testify in court, he's handed a kind of container by Vernon Fields, right, the assistant of Harvey Dent, and it's like, oh, you know, this is for, you know, whenever you have stomach issues or whatever the case is. And like Maroni takes it, and so the trial starts, and all the
Um, dang. The more I see this, the more I'm thinking about I'm thinking about season 1 of Gotham, really. Season 1 of Gotham, hold on. Let me sing some high praises real quick. Season 1 of Gotham had some of the best representation for what the crime families and what the actual mobsters and what that aspect of Gotham looks like on a day-to-day basis. Because you do have very heavy hitters in Gotham. There are people that are just, freaks and nuts and they're by themselves and they just come in and cause chaos and get out and do what they got to do. People like Poison Ivy, people like Poison Ivy, people like Deathstroke, people like Deadshot. These just singular big problems, right? And then you have your crazies, your fanatics that basically draw an occult and are like an occult like figure that draw people to them. These are people like Anarchist, Joker, um, who are some other ones that draw like that? There's some more. The crazies, the crazies. I'd put Black Mask in that category. Considering what he does to his employees, I would definitely put Black Mask in that category. Ears perked up about just regular people problem like the mob in Gotham. Oh yeah, because there's layers to this shit. Like I said, you have your occultists, you have your just single people problems, you have the experimental side of I'd say the other occultist would be Scarecrow, but then you also have the experimental side. People that are able to obtain goons and henchmen through very, very terrible means. People like the Dollmaker, people like Professor Pig, who torture and abuse and operate on victims into basically making them henchmen. You have people like the Mad Hatter, Jarvis Tetch, who uses mind control to gain like henchmen and things like that. And then you have your classic mobsters, like people who actually control territory and like hold weight in the city and things like that. Those guys, Carmine Falcone, Salvatore Maroni, the Penguin. The Penguin is a big player in the mob area in Gotham. The Penguin is a huge player. Like fucking massive. Once Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face, Harvey Dent is one in that mobster category as well. The Riddler is also more of a loner, but he gets help through extortion and blackmail. He extorts and blackmails people into doing things for him. Penguin is just the boss of mob bosses, right? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yes. So, yeah, wanted to sing Gotham's praises real quick because season 1 and season honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed most of Gotham. It's a bit dramatized and they do some silly stuff with origins and whatnot, but for the most part, they get the feeling of these Gotham characters done amazingly. Amazingly. Cannot sing this show's praises enough. If you're looking for a new show to binge, I've watched that show because I grew up watching that show. I watched that show probably 5 times all the way through. I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's fantastic. Gotta sing that show's praises a little bit, especially when we're diving so deep into what the mob scene looks like in Gotham. That is a great segue for me to plug a show that I love. But yeah. Alright, we're gonna finish this video up, and then what time is it? 3:48. I think we're gonna dip out at probably 4:15. 4:15, 4:30, depending if we can find another good video to watch.
These questions are asked, right? The prosecution calls Salvatore Vincent Maroni, aka Boss Maroni, to the stand, and so he just kind of starts confessing, right? I hit Mickey Gazzo and his brother Frankie, we tossed their bodies in the Gotham River, yada yada yada, kind of making these clear statements of the fact that he's committed some pretty heinous crimes. And so what you end up finding out was that Maroney showing up on the doorstep of Harvey Dent was a ruse. He never actually intended to testify and bring down the entire mob world. It was all to get to Harvey Dent and to do it publicly so nobody would question the authority of the mobsters who were out there. And he takes this vial that was given to him by Vernon, which has acid in it, and splashes it in the face of Harvey Dent. And that's how Harvey Dent, the entire side of his face, gets scarred. Now, Bruce Wayne's there watching all this go down, right? And he's like, okay, we need to do something. But then, like, once you get to the hospital, the doctor comes out and he's like, Mrs. Dent, right? Like, your husband is gone. And she's like, oh my God. He's like, no, he's gone. He's escaped. And it's like, dude, why do you have to phrase it like that, man? Like, right? But it turns out this guy's been stabbed in the back and literally just kind of like staggering out of there. But then you switch over to Carla, and Carla on this hunt, trying to figure out what's going on with the Holiday Killer, ends up coming across what's basically the Gotham City Coroner's office with all these victims of the Holiday Killer. But when she gets in there, she's immediately killed. And so it's like, okay, like another person is killed again. Now at this point, you switch over to Harvey Dent as he's kind of becoming Two-Face. He's really more in the sewers with Solomon Grundy, basically the precursor to Marvel's Incredible Hulk. Grundy predates the Hulk by quite some time.
Yes, he does, actually. Fun fact. Yes, he does. Solomon Grundy. Born on a Monday. Fun fact, that's also why the very early iterations of the Hulk is actually gray.
Very similar, right, in terms of their form and function. But the idea here is that Harvey Dent doesn't really feel like he belongs anywhere or has any kind of a home. His life has basically been torn, inside out and upside down. And so he finds a kind of solace in sort of being a cast-off in society alongside Solomon Grundy. But at the end of the day, a conversation takes place between Batman and Gordon where they talk about whether or not Harvey Dent really is the Holiday Killer. And if he was, then this is the best possible chance for him to get his revenge. And so the hunt needs to take place. They have to find Harvey. But at the end of the day, Batman's just kind of like, look, I have a hard time believing that Harvey Dent, right, the man who stands for this level of honor, right, that stands for doing the right thing, would so willingly and callously kill people just for the sake of getting rid of the mob. And so Batman's hunt kind of leads him down these different avenues and different roads, but ultimately, like, he never really figures out where Harvey Dent is. Like, he never actually finds him.
Gotta go tomorrow the same time? Yes, and we're also streaming tonight. We're doing some gaming if you've got some free time at work. But if not, you take care, and yeah, same bat time, same bat channel. Also, it's a new week. It's a new week. I think it's time. I think it's time, and I think it's fitting. Ladies and gentlemen, new comic book of the week. The Long Halloween. What time today? We're starting tonight at 9:30. Yeah. Comic book of the week, New York Times bestseller. Batman The Long Halloween.
Instead, what you end up doing is you switch over to Sal Maroni, who's actually being moved. And the reason for that is because Batman went to go visit Calendar Man, and he was
What time today? 9:30. Like tonight. It's Tuesday night stream. We stream from 9:30 to midnight.
like, okay, tell me what you know. Tell me everything you know, right? Clearly you got this figured out. And the Calendar Man
Okay. What's with the fucking blank stares? Why are you giving me blank stares? What did I do? I thought you did. I like. Oh shit! I accidentally clicked a fucking button. My lunchtime is 8 to 9. Oh, wolf. Oh no. Damn. That sucks. Well, then I will, unfortunately, I will see you tomorrow. Mm, we're getting off at 4:15. I might be able to get on at 9, but that's literally the end of your lunch. Damn, that sucks. Yeah. All right, Love and Rockets. Well, I will see you tomorrow. Um, you be good, stay safe, have a good day at work and stuff. Tomorrow maybe, but yeah, that's unfortunate, I assume. No worries. If I have a minute, I will catch up. Wonderful. 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 Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, back to it.
And it's just kind of like, yeah, I kind of do, but all I can really tell you is that, like, you have something that Holiday Killer wants. And that's where Batman figures out it's Sal Maroni, right? Like, literally, the Holiday Killer wants to finish this off once and for all, right? Take out the heads of the crime families. And so when they're moving him underground, there's just like these two shots that fire out of nowhere and they kill this dude immediately, right? And at that point, Jim Gordon, who kind of gets knocked to the ground, shines a flashlight up, and you end up realizing the Holiday Killer is Alberto Falcone. But I'll tell you right now, it's not. It's a ruse, right? And you find out who the Holiday Killer is at the end, which is phenomenal. But for the most part, like, Alberto's taken out pretty quickly by Batman, who's disguised as one of the guards, right? This guy's beat almost within an inch of his life. And in fact, Batman almost kills him. Like, he almost beats him to death. And it takes, like, Gordon pulling this guy off of him in order to get him to stop. Because from Batman's perspective, everything that had happened since the Holiday murder started has sent him down this path where his judgment's been impaired. He hasn't been making the best decisions. He accused his friend of being the Holiday Killer, and he blames it all on Alberto Falcone. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. But what ends up happening is you get this kind of motivation, seemingly, of Alberto when, like, Carmine shows up and talks to his son. And he's like, look, man, like, here's the thing. Is there anything you need, right? I can get you a pair of those eyeglasses that you like, right? The purple ones. I can get you out of here, right? If you plead guilty to killing Maroni and only killing Maroni, I can fix that. I can make that go away. But the response of his son is, do you even know when my birthday is? And he's like, I'll give you a hint. It falls on a holiday. Is it Christmas, New Year's, Father's Day? And he's like, you wouldn't know, because the reality here is you were always busy every single year on my birthday. You always had something more important going on. Of course, his birthday fell on Valentine's Day, right? But the fact is that he holds a lot of animosity towards his father. And he even goes so far as to say, like, I am the Holiday Killer. That's exactly who I am. And so following that, Two-Face shows up to Arkham Asylum, and instead of freeing Calendar Man, Two-Face actually ends up freeing basically everybody else and kind of unifying all these guys together.
Just in case you need visuals, we've got right here on the top, we've got the Penguin. I fucking love that hat. That's a fucking hat. But there's hats to rival it in the room, I've got to say. Over here, you've got Dr. Crane, the Scarecrow, another wondrous hat. You've got the Joker. You've got Poison Ivy. You've got Catwoman. You've got Jarvis Tetch down here in the corner. The Mad Hatter. character illustration is cool. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And then this guy right here that I'm blocking off with my face is Solomon Grundy once more. These are the goats. These are A-list.
Against Carmine and Sophia. And like all of them are brought directly to the office, right? To the home of Carmine and Sophia. And it's like the Joker and it is Solomon Grundy and that whole thing. And where Carmine's just like, what is this, right? Like, what are you doing here? The response of Harvey Dent is, did you really think that I would let you tear this city apart? Did you really think that I would just let mob bosses run rampant through all of this, right? Through my city. Now, of course, Carmine Falcone is saved by like Batman showing up and defeating every single member of his rogues gallery who were here, overpowering pretty much all of them with the exception of Harvey Dent, who successfully actually kills Carmine Falcone. And so at this point, there are no more mob guys in the city. Sophia's the only one left, and Sophia actually ends up jumping out of a window with Catwoman in tow, and Catwoman just kind of grabs onto a ledge, she survives, and Sophia just falls to her death. And so at that point, you now just have Harvey Dent. And so Harvey goes to confront Vernon, and he's like, you were the one that saw Maroni before he came to court. You're the one that gave him the vial. You're the reason that I look like this. And that where Vernon just kind of begs, like, please don't kill me, basically Harvey Dent kills him anyway. And so there's a kind of conversation, which is really, really interesting, between Batman, Gordon, and Two-Face, where they have this whole discussion about how Two-Face was doing what needed to be done. That in his mind, the failure of the justice system was that it didn't take into account individuals that operate beyond it, outside of it, and can control it and shape it. Of what use is the legal system against those who decide who does and doesn't get punished by the legal system?
No. 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 No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That is a villain. That is a villain. Do not get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. That is a monster. That is a man that needs help. Like serious psychiatric help. That man is a monster. He's a lawyer trying to take out mob bosses. That's Harvey Dent. That's this half of bro. That ain't what this half of bro wants. Two-Face don't want that shit. Bro is the definition of being of two minds on a subject. Harvey is the anti-hero then? That I will give you. But Two-Face, the character, that is a monster. That is a monster. Brother, if you stepped in front of him, like if you got in his way, he'd gun you down. Regular smegular Joe. If you got in his way, or like you gave him a little shoulder check in a busy sidewalk, you'd hear a coin flick in the air. And then you'd never hear anything again. This man does not give a fuck. As all Gotham regulars would, no? No, bro. No.
System. And so he had to go outside the law in order to enforce the law. And so it's really cool because in turn, he hands himself over to Commissioner Gordon, right? He's just like, arrest me, right? We'll see how Law and Order handle Harvey Dent. But then he asked the question, he was like, you both know, don't you, that there were 2 holiday killers? And there's like, what? And it's like, yes, there were 2 of them. Now, Batman speculates, this is the twist ending that's so amazing. Batman speculates that it was Alberto Falcone who was the holiday killer and that he killed all those people up until the moment when Two-Face killed Carmine Falcone on the final Halloween. And that, in effect, Two-Face was talking about himself becoming like the last holiday killer, right? The second holiday killer. But that's not true at all. That is not the case. because what you do is you pick up with Gilda at Harvey Dent's home. And as she's packing up all of her boxes and everything, she has this amazing monologue, right? She says, Harvey, I did what needed to be done. Do you remember you promised we would finally have time together when you didn't have so much work to do? I read your case files about taking serial numbers off guns and how a baby bottle nipple would muffle the sound, how clues are left at murder scenes. And I thought if I did that, Batman would think it was someone extraordinary and not me. I used your hat and coat for a disguise and left those things at the killings. Johnny Vitti was the first. Then again, on Thanksgiving, I left the hospital while you slept, and again on Christmas. But when Alberto Falcone was shot on New Year's and you came home late that night, your hair was wet. Even though you were wearing a hat, I found the gun in the basement. You told me it was evidence, but I knew you had the same idea as me. You picked up where I left off, so we could have time together. A child, a secret. Let them think it was Alberto. No one will ever find out because they don't have you to help. You are my Apollo. You can do no wrong. I believe in Harvey Dent. With that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this to an end. I told you guys it was the best twist ending ever. So here's the question that I want to know from you guys, right?
Who got it? Who guessed it? Who guessed it? Who picked it up? Who picked it up? Who got it? Who got it? Raise your hands. Not at all. You weren't picking up on that one? You weren't picking up on that one? Dang. I guess you'll have to pick up a copy. Get you one. Get you a good one. Okay, what time is it? We're looking at 4:05. Two killers. How was I supposed to know? I mean, if you'd read it. No, I'm playing. Hush is goated too. We might talk about Hush some other time. Not today though. Let's see here. Anything worth seeing? Oh, yes, this is what I saw. Shrek. All right, guys, lock in. Shrek 5. Let's see if it's any count. What am I, Superman? Yes, you are. This was the trailer I was talking about earlier. Yeah, they've got Shrek 5 going on. Ever watch Shrek 4? With the kids? With the little jits? Dang, talk about a fake They're cussing in this one? They're cussing in this one? This is crazy. Not gonna lie, Donkey's doing exactly what I'd do in that situation. If I was trapped in a room, dead ass, you'd get some correct. Wait, what? No way, this is a new trailer. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, heard. Ah! Why was that on my fucking... Random slur. Good grief. What the fuck? It's meatballs? Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was that was wow. You know, you're just scrolling through looking for something interesting to take a little look-see at. Oh, that was a pop right there, baby. That was a pop right there. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. Let's do one more Rolodex through, one more quick scroll. And if we don't see nothing, I think we're gonna call it there. Surf Ninjas? Bro, you wanna see the trailer for Surf Ninjas? There's gotta be a trailer. Yes. Surf Ninjas. Uh-huh. Official trailer. Oh shit. I forgot Rob Schneider's in this movie. That's crazy. He was not the main character though.
Whoa! New Line Cinema presents an awesome, rippin', totally stoked
Get on with it.
new movie, Surf Ninjas. It's the story of these kids who get booted from their country by this evil dude.
That was then.
Is this 90s brain rot? What is this? This is 90s brain rot.
Now they're growing up in L.A. And their life's one major vacation.
It's got a waxy old hand-to-wave, friction-reducing vehicle. Surfboard.
But some gnarly ninjas give them a blast from their past.
Die tonight.
So they gotta split with their one-eyed guru.
Your Highnesses.
Huh? And go back and save their country. Which is cool, because they meet this mystery guy.
Wanna go to the mall sometime?
And like one dude gets these superpowers. You see the future in his Sega game. And, well, one's a geek.
There's dynamite here. We'll throw it at him. I got one. 1, 2, dudes.
And now they gotta fight the righteous fight. And basically kiss. You gotta see Ernie Reyes Jr.
You gotta see, dude. You gotta see it.
He can get a job as a sushi chef, no problem.
Wild Thing Tone Loc
Brothers don't serve.
and Leslie Nielsen as Colonel Chi in a film by Neil Israel. Surf Ninjas.
I love the part when I was like, ah! Sorry.
From the same people that brought you the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies from the 90s, guys. Are you not fucking in? Are you not in? Oh my god. I forgot how great that fucking movie is. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get me a beer and pizza, and this would be amazing. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Goodness, boys. Goodness, what peak. What peak. What peak to go out on. A little bit of Surf Ninjas. Oh my god. Incredible. Fucking incredible. Shout out Surf Ninjas, big dog. Shout out Surf Ninjas. Superman, Love and Rockets, Puma. I think we only had the usuals at the bar today. Thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out with me. I shed actual tears. Was that not the funniest thing ever? Oh my goodness. Incredible. Incredible. Oh yeah. Let me do this real quick before we go. Mhm. Alrighty. This broadcast is now public. It is also, as soon as I end this, it is also going to be added to YouTube. I'm going to start doing that. So it'll probably be up here in a couple of hours. But yeah, thank y'all so much. You guys are the best as always. Tonight we're going to keep it chill. We're going to keep it calm. As soon as I get off here, I'm probably going to go get me a pizza. Um, but yeah, it's going to be super, super calm. We're just going to be playing a bit of Rivals, the classic, the Surf Ninja VOD. Bye. Yes, sir. But yeah, nothing too crazy tonight. Bye.